Are buffalo rice cakes delicious? Yes, yes they are. The idea I had with this was I wanted a vessel to carry buffalo sauce. And then I thought of rice cakes out of the blue. This is what you do with your leftover rice. That's just gonna go in and that's gonna season the rice. And then from there, we're just gonna mix that up thoroughly. Make sure to season that with some salt. Just gonna make sure that this is evenly coated with all of the mirin and the salt before I put it into a sheet tray. And the sheet tray is gonna be lined with some plastic wrap. And then my rice just gets dumped right into there. Spread that out thoroughly. I used to make so much rice cakes back at work. Remember times at like 12 in the morning making rice cakes right before leaving work, just so they're ready the next day. And then cover that with another layer of plastic wrap. Equal size sheet tray goes on top of that. Press that down. And then just wrap it up good. Then this gets tossed into your fridge overnight. These are Korean chili peppers. They're expensive. They're about $21.99 a pound where I live, but they're delicious. You can basically use this technique for any hot sauce. Take your chilies, chop them up rough, put them into a pot, and then from there you can put basically whatever you want. I did carrots, I did garlic, and then apple cider vinegar. The vinegar is the most important part of it. You might think the chili, yes, but the vinegar, very important. I like apple cider vinegar. If you want to do distilled white, go ahead and do that. Or a rice wine vinegar, do that. Champagne, do that. You get the point. Use any vinegar that you want. I used apple cider vinegar. Then I put in some black peppercorn from Spice Tribe. Toss that onto the heat, cover it, let it simmer for about 10 to 20-ish minutes or until everything is nice and soft. Pull the lid off. Be careful with that vinegar steam. You might start coughing from that. Toss it into a blender, blend it nice and smooth. Season it to taste with salt. Add a little bit more vinegar if it needs it, and then bottle it up, and we've got a Korean chili hot sauce. That's gonna be the base for our wing. I can then toss that into a pot with a nub of butter and mount it to form a wing sauce. Really delicious Korean chili wing sauce. I'm telling you, this stuff is fucking delicious. I wanted to make a ranch sauce, but then it morphed into this powder thing. I just took brown butter soil as the thought for this. And if you don't know what that is, all it is you take butter, bring it up to a boil, and then you toss in milk solids, which is non-fat milk powder to be exact. Give it a whiskey whisk and then toss that over a strainer, strain out all the fat, put that onto a sheet tray with a napkin and let that cool. To that, I added in some dehydrated scallions, some California dried garlic, my brown butter powder, black pepper, and salt to taste. Yes, these are all the flavors of ranch together in what looks like a brown butter soil. So this is basically like a ranch powder. And you can keep this, store it in an airtight container just like this, and it's gonna be great on pretty much anything that you would wanna put ranch on, which is anything, honestly. Of course, you can't have wings without the celery and the carrot. Most people don't eat that part. I eat that part. It's a refresher at the end of it. So I just diced it up, put that into a bowl, and then I chopped up some dill, put that into the bowl, and then I poured over some boiling hot rice wine vinegar, seasoned to taste with salt. And there we go. We've got a little quick pickle, carrot, and celery. And yes, this does hold well in the fridge. If you want to store it in a jar, airtight, whatever, keep it clean, use a clean utensil, and you're good to go with your pickled carrots and celery. And now we can move on to our rice cakes that we made last night. So you pull the rice cakes out of the fridge and you're left with a brick of rice. This one looks a little thinner because this is one that I made the night prior with less rice. If it's a little bit sticky, you can use some cornstarch so it doesn't stick to your board or your hand. Chop it up into nice even pieces and make sure to have a pan on the side. And there you go, you've got your rice cakes ready to fry off. In a pot or a shallow fry pan, I tossed in some grapeseed oil and I fried them off GBD at about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I did coat mine in a little bit of cornstarch so they wouldn't stick because they're very fresh. Once GBD, we pull it out, toss it into a bowl, and then pour over our Korean chili hot sauce. Sorry, buffalo sauce. Give it a little tossy toss, and then it's time for the plate up. On a plate, I put down my brown butter ranch soil, followed by the buffalo rice cakes. Yes, buffalo rice cakes. And then topped it with my little chow chow of carrots and celery. And there it is. Buffalo rice cakes. Fucking delicious. Buffalo rice cakes. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe, let me know what you want to see next.